Welcome everyone. My name is Nneoma Effanga and I welcome you all to another Polish Stew series experience where we upgrade ourselves in the area of appearance, behavior, and communication. So welcome from wherever you're joining us. I'm super excited to be here, and it's going to be another beautiful experience for every one of us, especially for some of us who always want to see ourselves upgrade and upscale. So I am excited to see you all. Welcome to today's experience. Right, I will get right to it. Today we're going to be talking about activity versus productivity in the work environment. So I'm going to throw this question right out to anyone that are listening today, whether you're on Instagram or on Facebook. Do you feel or do you find yourself before the lockdown, right? So a lot of us had to go to work or had to have an in-person experience, right? So did you ever find yourself where you knew that you were done with all of the work that you had to do for the day, but for some reason you just wanted to still hang around at the office and do something just to appear like you are doing something, right? And hours are going, time is just flying by. You can't wait till like 6 or for some of us till 8 p.m. at night before we close down for the day and say, okay, we're done. Well, I think it's about time we talked about that. Activity versus productivity in the work environment. Now, a lot of us have found ourselves more in the virtual space. So more of our work is found in the virtual space. So some of us quickly, we clock in the morning, right? We clock in the morning and we just set up and, appear to be doing something, carrying out activities online. So you clock in early enough, but you are not there. I know a number of us are guilty as charged, because sometimes you just want to, okay, let it be that. Sometimes it's even a virtual meeting. So you clock in, but you're not showing your videos, of course, for obvious reasons, and you're busy doing other things, but you're present but not available. That's another discussion for another day. Right, so we're talking activity versus productivity in the environment, in the work environment. We're going to start with knowing exactly what activity and productivity mean, right? So what is activity? Activity by the dictionary meaning means use of energy, right? Force or physical effort to be able to do something. Activity could also mean an active movement. So you are, you're doing something actively, right? It could also be a normal mental or bodily power that we exert to function or to process information, for example. All right. Then we also want to find out what productivity means. So productivity means generative, creative, fertile, right? That means that, another definition is actually being in, the quality or state or fact of being or generating or creating or enhancing, bringing forth good results, right? So that means that activity might mean that you are doing something, while productivity means that there's a result, because of the action that you have taken, there is a resultant action or result that comes out of it. So when you want to ask yourself, in the work environment, whether it's virtual or in person, am I active? Am I performing activity? Or am I productive? Am I achieving results? That is something that you might want to help yourself to understand, because sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, we find ourselves performing activities, but there is no commensurate productivity. For something to be productive, there has to be it's measurable. It's something that you can see. I started from here and I've ended here, right? There is something that you can measure. There's a level of progress. There's a level of positive results that follows it. So you want to ask yourself, in the work experience, whether virtually or in person, am I being active? That means, am I doing a lot of things? Because sometimes we find out that we can't even measure our level of progress. Why is that? We are consumed with so many things to perform in a day. We do a little bit of this, we do a little bit of that, we do a little bit of this, we do a little bit of that. A lot of people have the beginner's anointing, if I may borrow that language, but they don't have the finisher's anointing, right? So you find yourself a lot of times just performing one activity after the other. But when it comes to productivity, being able to measure, wow, progressive have you been? How efficient? What are the results that you have been able to accomplish or receive from being able to perform a particular activity? And you find out that you really can't measure. You really can't say that, okay, I started off the day having a number of activities, and these are the things that I was able to accomplish. Because sometimes we are distracted, sometimes we are consumed with anxiety or certain emotions that don't even allow us to fully concentrate on what activity that we're trying to make productive. So at the end of the day, you can't even measure, you can't even attain a level of satisfaction with what you say you are doing. So where is the problem? Sometimes a lot of things can cause us to be very active but not productive, especially now that we have a lot of people who are doing a lot of their work in the virtual space, right? So even your work ethics, being able to train yourself. The truth of it is that for us to be productive, one of the first things you want to quickly do is be able to have a plan. At the start of the week or before your week starts, what is the plan? Do you know what your deliverables are from the beginning of the week to the end of the week? What are you trying to accomplish? For somebody who has tasks in the office, you might want to take stock. Okay, of all the tasks that I have to perform, where are the deadlines? So when you're able to have a plan, you're able to write out the different activities, attach a timeline to it. It's either I'm supposed to churn this out on Tuesday. By Thursday, I should have concluded on this meeting, or I should be able to attain a level, or I should be able to submit a proposal or some project. I'm supposed to be here at a time. Anyone that plans definitely can't fail. And that's the beginning aspect of it. That's where a lot of us begin to fail, because we don't even have a plan. And like they say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So what is your plan for the week? What is your goal for the month? And how can you break it down to weeks so that every single day you know the activity that you are supposed to perform? The target at the end of the week is to be able to check off every item on your plan list. That helps you to begin to add a level of organization to what you're doing. And it will also eliminate time wasters, because sometimes you're busy performing activities that you don't have any business attending to at that point in time. So what are you doing? You are wasting absolute precious time. You don't want to do that to yourself. So what are you doing? You first of all develop a time plan. For the week, this and this and this, these are the activities that I have. Now, when attach timing to it, so that timelines to it, so that they can help you to focus. It's very key, because what you focus on expands. And if you don't focus on the right thing, the wrong things will continue to expand, and those are the things that you will find yourself focusing on. For those that are just joining, we are talking about activity versus productivity. So, how active are we? Sometimes we're so busy, but we can't see the results that we're looking for. A lot of people find themselves in that position, and that is important. That is why it's important for us to pay attention to certain detail. For you to be productive, one of the first things, like I said earlier, is that you want to readily have a plan. What is your plan for the week? What is your plan for the month? What is your plan for the first quarter, the third quarter, or the first half of the year? Coincidentally, we're in the second half of the year. Do you have a plan? Do you have a goal to achieve every month or every week? The monthly goals can actually be broken down to weeks. The same thing with your job or even other assignments apart from your career life. You have your social life, you have your emotional life, you have your family life. What plans do you have to be able to set timelines and activities each week to cater for every single part of your life? It's very, very key. When you have that plan, and then another thing, begin to make it a habit. Anything that you do consistently over a period of time, some people say 21 days, becomes a habit. And when it becomes a habit, you begin to turn it around to become a lifestyle. So what lifestyle, what new habits are you creating for yourself? Are you finding yourself constantly active but not productive? You have to have a plan on ground. Start the week with writing out all the activities. It's not just about your career. Every aspect of your life, your family life, emotional, social, spiritual, the things that you want to do, so that every day you are able to move from one point to the other. Or at 8 o'clock, I'm supposed to be doing this. At this time, I'm supposed to be doing this. Part of what helps me in the area of meeting up with my meetings is the app called the Google Calendar. So there I just put down all of my meetings, and I give myself 30 minutes notice, an hour's notice, 2 or 3 days, so that it helps me to prepare mentally, so that on that day, even if I'm engaged somewhere else, once my timer beeps 30 minutes to your meeting, I say, oh, sorry, I'm super excited about our discussion, but unfortunately I have to stop here because I have another engagement ready to start, right? So you want to add on different things. There are apps that can also help you. I just mentioned the Google Calendar. There are other apps that can help you to put a plan on ground to enable you have sort of structure and organization to what you want to achieve in your activities and the level of productivity that you also want to see. I don't know if there's anyone out there who is struggling with time wasters. You know, some things that you find sometimes you're gisting at the wrong time when you're supposed to be doing something else. I don't know, you can share your experience, but for me, part of what has helped me in recent times is being able to put timelines to everything I'm doing. So even when I have my break period, right? And I want to go on social media just to check what's going on. There is a setting even in your social media platforms that enables you to put a timeline to how long you spend. So some people are actively doing something that they spend all of that time on social media. At the end of the day, you would be productive that way. The moment it's 5 minutes, my Instagram just beeps and says, you've been on Instagram for 5 minutes. And that's the time I can spare. Immediately, I log off. Every other thing can wait until my next break period. So you want to help yourself in this regard. You have to, for you to be readily becoming more productive than active, it's not enough to just be active. Do you know that you can be very active but not productive? You can't be productive without having an activity. So, but you can be very active and not be productive at all. So you want to ask yourself at any point in time, whatever I'm doing, am I active or am I productive? If you want to just be active, doing a lot of things without showing the results, then that's your choice. But if you want to be productive with every single moment that you have, every single day, then you must aim at being productive even in every activity. Find a result oriented. Find out the results for every single thing that you're doing. What is the takeaway? What am I going to take as something that I have achieved? It may not be just that it's monetary value. It could also be aesthetic values, depending on what you attach to what you're doing at that time. You can ask yourself, is it a time where even if it's a free time, I'm not just whiling it away, I'm using it productively? If I say, for example, I need time to rest, am I actively resting is the question. Or I'm engaged in a discussion, am I bringing value to that discussion? It is you being deliberate in being productive with what, not just talking, but talking with sense. So whatever it is that you want to do today, as I wrap up, ask yourself, am I being productive or am I just being active? In the work environment, productivity is what measures progress. It's the results that you bring with what you say you do that brings promotion, that brings progress, or any sense of fulfillment. So, in all of the activities that you busy yourself with, make sure that it is aimed at a productive result. Make sure that you are being productive. Don't just spend time till 8 o'clock and then say, oh, I'm done for the day. Own your time. Use it productively. If it's work time, invested well in the work that you say that you do. Give it your 100% and churn out the right results. If you're done by 5 o'clock, trust me, you have every reason to pick your bag and say, you know what, I'm done for the day. I can measure the productivity level that I have committed to what I say that I do. And when you begin to show up in that regard, people will respect your time. People will be more conscious that you are a productive person who does not waste his or her time. So they will respect you for who you have become. And on that note, we end today's experience of the Polished You series. Don't forget that to be active does not necessarily mean that you are productive. Think about it, especially in the workspace, and more especially now that a lot goes on more in the virtual space. When you shut down your video, are you being productive? Are you being in the present? Are you churning out results? Or you are just being active? Thank you everyone for joining in. I'm super grateful. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.